Here are the 2025 Lexus ES. This is the 300h in Matador Red versus the 350 F Sport Handling's package in Ultra White. I'm going to show you what you're getting as a total value. 87 horsepower is a difference, but the MPGs is a night and day difference between the two. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. Starting off with the ES300h. It's going to have the bi-LED headlights and daytime runnings with the signature L. You can option triple beam LED headlights, which we have on the 350 F Sport Handling package, and it makes it look a lot more sporty yet luxurious, because let's face it, the 5th generation Camry has bi-LED headlights, and I think it should be standard as the triple beam. That's going to integrate into the enlarged grille. Now, when you're in the 300h, this is more of a base trim that will receive the gloss gray with the chrome surrounding all the trims and the lower air pocket with standard front parking sensors, and a reverse camera is standard with an option of a 360-degree reverse camera when you go into the luxury trim. Opposed to the F Sport, when you get the design or the handling package, you're going to get the same aesthetic. So the grille is going to be blacked out with the L badges that zigzag throughout, as well as the smoke chrome and the air pocket. Gets the grille pattern with the gloss black, front and rear parking sensors. We have the 360-degree reverse camera, which is also an option. The same clearance, but what's underneath the hood is what changes the whole ballgame. Because when you go into the 300h, it's a 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder that's producing a combined of 215 horsepower, and that's achieving 43 MPGs for the city, 44 MPGs for the highway, with a combined at 44. So when you're thinking hybrid, mid-size luxury sedan, who does that? Drop a comment of who does. Going into the 350 F Sport Handling package, you're going to get the V6 3.5 liter that's pumping out 302 horsepower with 267 pound-feet of torque, paired to a 8-speed automatic transmission. Now the MPGs is going to drop. You got 22 for the city, 31 for the highway, but who cares? You're wanting that V6 to get the 6.6 seconds 0 to 60 opposed to the 8.1 seconds there. The F Sport Handling package, it's exactly what it does. It's going to give you a tuned F Sport suspension with adaptive variable suspension with these upgraded 19-inch wheels with the gloss black. That's going to finish it. 17-inch wheel is standard with an 18-inch wheel option when you go into other trims. The 250 is going to be the only way you can option all-wheel drive, which is a con for me because you can't get it in the hybrid or the 350, which is the more powerful variant in the class. Because let's face it, when you go into Toyota, they don't offer a TRD anymore. They're all hybrid trims with 225 horsepower. So this is your only option unless you're wanting to go into a Crown. But then when you're thinking price, the Crown's going to be about $4,000 to $7,000 more than this, and that's with features. And this is going to be very similar into the 0 to 60s. And I can already tell you that I'm going to have those comments saying, well, they're not sports sedans, they're luxury sedans. Well, it does somewhat compete with the Germans, so you want some performance when you get into luxury. You're not wanting a car that takes 30 minutes to get onto the interstate. 17-inch wheels will also come standard. This is an 18-inch wheel upgrade. Optioning the F Sport Handling or design is going to have the same similar specs with the same suspension when you get into the handling package. The design is just aesthetics, in both of which will have the chrome that's surrounding all of the window trim. But check this out, when the power folding mirrors are folded up, which is an option, it's not standard, that chrome is going to make a L design. So they've kept the styling with signature trim pieces all over, with a standard moonroof on both. Option for a panel moonroof will not be on the base trim on the 300h, but even if you're considering Infiniti or Acura, they don't make a hybrid. So there's no comparison when you're talking about luxury unless you're going into a performance variant like the Germans, but then you're going to be spending about 10 to 15 grand more than these examples. So you could take a beautiful vacation with that, or put it into your savings account. The rear is going to get a standard LED tail light. The chrome is going to surround the top portion. Both will have a trunk lid spoiler. The lower is going to be a little different because on the 300h, I'm not expecting to see exhaust outlets. So they put the chrome that's going to surround it. Whereas on the ES350 F Sport Handling, well, it's a V6 naturally aspirated, so it needs dual exhaust outlets with the diffuser, so it looks more athletic. And I think they did a good job with the styling differences. But because the price difference is around $7 $15 grand, I would like to see that F Sport handling package not just be for handling, but tuning to the engine, because for the 24 and under on the Camrys, they did the same thing with the TRD. They'd give you a TRD suspension, catback exhaust. This is all fine, but they would also base it on more of a base trim, not even like an XSE. And going into here, you can option that on both of the trims, which is awesome, but still no all-wheel drive. Whereas the 26 is supposed to get a refresh. We may get an all-wheel drive variant, but then we may lose the V6, which this is going to be the sweet spot then for a luxury midsize sedan in the Lexus line, which makes me take this over the hybrid, even though I'm getting better MPGs. Both ES will have the same 15.9 cubic feet of storage with a power liftgate. Kick to open is an option with bag holders on the sides. Underneath the floor is what everybody talks about. You get a spare tire. You don't usually receive that with BMW, Audi, or Mercedes, but you can't fold down the rear bench. You can only split it in the center for a pass-through. The ES300h headroom, not an issue, nor is leg space. It is somewhat of a driver-focused setup. The way the infotainment screen is tilted, this wood inlays and ambient lighting is a package in itself. Let's start her up. Auto dimming rear view mirror is standard, as well as a moonroof. 8-inch infotainment screen is standard. This is an upgrade 12.3 with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It is wirelessly. Wi-Fi hotspot with 4G capabilities. Put it into reverse, and we get a reverse camera with the trajectory that expands, and you can also change the camera layout to make it a little bit more wide, but it still doesn't cover up the whole screen, which is a con to me, but you do get the analog clock, which is a pro to me because I just like that styling. 10.2 heads-up display. You can't option on the base. You got to go into the luxury. Dual climate control settings is standard, as well as 2 USB ports here. Wireless charging pad, leather wrap heated steering wheel, the power folding side view mirrors with the heated ventilated front seats. And this is a new look design with 10-way power seat adjustment, and memory for the driver is part of the premium package. Multi-function for the steering wheel. You get the paddle shifts, and the gauge cluster. You can go through an array of content, including turn-by-turn navigation. The controls to put it into sport mode, eco, and push it in for normal. It's going to be soft to touch, opens up as a 2-tier area, so you have 2 USBs to 12 volt. Here's the other tier, so it's both for passenger and driver. Door panel, dashboard configuring together. Soft materials are found all over. One touch up and down for the windows that are acoustic for the front, with a medium-sized storage pocket and a change holder for the driver. The ES350 F Sport Handling headroom is going to be basically the same, but you're going to notice sport pedals. Gonna feel more driver focused, gonna feel more premium. You get the aluminum inlays, that's part of the F Sport package, as well as the steering wheel, the seats, heated ventilated front seats. You get the F Sport badging, contrast stitch, and bolstering is going to be more sport derived with 10-way power seat adjustment. Let's start it up. Eight-inch infotainment is standard as well. This is an upgrade 12.3, the same specs, except we have the 360-degree reverse camera. The trajectory does expand for the front and the rear, and you can change different camera icons to make it look a little bit more easy for your revert. And you can change different camera layouts to make it a little bit easier for you with the same standard climate control, wireless charging pads, part of the F Sport. You get the same everything here, except this is going to be perforated. Even the key fobs are going to be the exact same. I like the two-tone color because it makes it look more vibrant and sporty. And when you're looking at that gauge cluster, check this out. You not only have Sport S, but you got Sport Plus. You also have your Eco, your Normal, and when you click over here to Custom, go into Settings. Whenever I click this, go here. Have to click all this stuff here, so that way we close it all out, and now you can change the sport tune for your chassis, powertrain, and air condition. Heads-up display is an option. This is a 10.2 with the upgraded Mark Livingston. That's 1800 watts throughout with the ambient lighting as well. Just a lot going on. You can also click here on the view, and you have your bird's eye view, so you can see inside. You can also pause it. and you can change where it has the bubble effect to go all around the vehicle. Door panel, dashboard configuring together nicely with one touch up and down for all the windows. And even though it's sporty, they don't make it that way. They make it nice and soft. Same size storage, same storage pocket for the driver. The back seats of the ES300h, headroom, legroom, not an issue. Storage behind both of the front seats. 12 volt, 2 USB ports, air vents, cup holders with a large armrest. The door is going to have the same materials that's found in the front, so I like that they don't strip anything, except up here I would like it to be a little bit more soft. I'm just a bit picky. With a larger storage pocket that's than found in the front. Sliding into the center, leg space is not going to be an issue. Knee space can be depending on how far back you put it, but at my seat settings, you can see plenty of leg, butt, shoulder, knee space. As for headroom, it starts to become compromised because of the lighting and the way the headliner is. But that's going to be the same thing in the 350 F Sport Handling package. We do have the power rear sunshade, which you can option there as well. The door, you can't get the manual sunshades. You have to go into the luxury or ultra luxury in order to get it, but the pattern design just keeps that sport flaring with the upgraded sound system. Same size storage pocket and finishing it up the same exact way. I'm gonna start off with turn radius on the ES300h. I'm gonna get about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Now you're talking 8.1 seconds opposed to 6.6 seconds for the ES350. 87 horsepower is a huge difference. And when you're considering a butter smooth drive, you're gonna still accomplish that whether you option this or that. Now, I wouldn't necessarily consider the 250 because if I go 250, I'm only getting 3 mpgs more for the city and highway, so it's not really making sense to get a 0 to 60 that's going to be even slower with less horsepower than the hybrid trim. But when you go 350, you are going to be spending around $5,000 more, which is a lot, but 302 horsepower is a lot also. And 267 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission. This could be the last time you see a V6 variant for the ES, because for 2026, we're supposed to be getting a refresh. And if that's the case, then that's kind of a gem because of all the performance, especially if you option the F Sport Handling package. I mean, that's going to tune the suspension with the F Sport, adaptive variable suspension. Just that in itself adds value, plus the aesthetics to the exterior. When you go 300h base trim, the nice thing here is you can feature it up and you're getting a huge amount of MPGs, because 43 MPGs for the city is absolutely no joke compared to 22. That's nearly double the MPGs, and highway itself is 13 MPGs more. So as a total value, if you're looking to get something more towards economics with luxury, hands down, this is the best route to go. But I would say go into the luxury or the premium luxury at least. The F Sport Handling package, it's nice to add, but I just don't see the total value unless you really need those 19-inch wheels. And adding these 18-inch wheels, they're also going to change to a sport tire, which you might not get 15,000 miles out of them. In which, something to consider if you're thinking about aesthetics. Hard braking, you can stop on a dime, unlike that Toyota, but on a con, you still can't configure all-wheel drive even on the ES350. You have to go into the 250 in order to do so, which you're gonna spend more money going into the 250 just really for that all-wheel drive configuration. And when I'm thinking about $3,000 more, I hate to say it, my money would be spent on the 350. Add the F Sport Handling package at that point, because you might as well just put in all the bells and whistles, because you're gonna have that sport style in the exterior, sport tuned suspension, and you got that V6 engine, which outclasses all 3 of these. But going into competition, none of the trims will be comparable really to the Germans. But as for MPGs, it outclasses the Germans, and pricing for the features that you get and for the smooth ride. But a big problem for me is that you have to option quite a few features, and this is 2025. You're not receiving a wireless charging pad, but you're getting wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Why not give us a little bit more? Maneuverability is good, and to show you some of the pickup, passing some of the old Camrys, not gonna be an issue there. going back to the pros and cons, another con to me is you can't even option the heads-up display in this tier. You have to option things like this 12.3 infotainment screen, which looks a little outdated. I like that we still have physical buttons because the new generation vehicles are basically canceling all that out. But in the same perspective, I mean, maybe put it or integrate it into the dash, not coming out so much. I like that they made it a little bit sporty, but it still has that old design for Toyota, which it should, because this is basically a Camry just decked out the way a Camry should be with soft materials. But then the seat comfort is still about the same. The cushion is better, but I'm still sitting higher up. I don't have that much room on the butt, so my knees are kind of in the air. And the bolstering to it, you only get 10-way power seat adjustment standard. I mean, you can get that with a Camry. And now the ES350 F Sport Handling package. What do you get? Nearly 90 horsepower more, nearly 100 pound-feet of torque more. This car is night and day difference of a drive in performance because you're getting 2 seconds quicker, more or less, in the 0 to 60. Plus, we have the F Sport Handling package, which changes the whole suspension. Now, unfortunately, there isn't any tuning to the engine. But overall, I'm happy with what I'm getting because a lot of value comes into that package, not just exterior aesthetics and wheels and suspension, but also interior amenities like the steering wheel that's leather heated, front ventilated and heated seats, wireless charging pad, power folding side view mirrors. I mean, when you capture all that in one package, that's amazing. Now in the con, you have to option the heads-up display and this 12.3 infotainment screen, which you have to do the same thing even going into the hybrid variant. Why do I need to do that when I'm purchasing this particular vehicle? I'm already around 50 grand. This is already over $7,000 more than that variant. I get it. You're getting a little bit more value because of the engine and the performance, but I'm losing MPGs, which is a key factor to Lexus. And most people that buy an ES is not looking to put it on the track. So even though I'm getting a 6.6 second 0 to 60, that's fine. But the only reason why somebody would want to option this is because they want that V6 engine. Turn radius at a stop point more or less is getting about 2 lanes, and we got to rock and roll with this one. And the cool thing about the way they have designed this gauge cluster is when you are mashing on the gas, it'll turn yellow and red, and it just looks super cool. Especially considering most people are thinking, well, it's not really up to performance levels like BMW, Mercedes, and Acura. And you're correct with that. But when you're thinking about the price, they're not going to be comparable with this. And then when you're thinking about Infiniti and Acura, now they do have performance variants. It's just, this is a little bit more unique because you're not really expecting that. I'm thinking of an IS to be more sporty, not really so much in the ES trim level. Whether you go the 350 or the 300H, I don't think you're going to be disappointed because you have such pros with either MPGs or performance that it kind of blends in whichever way you go. I will say the seat comfort to this, when you're optioning the F Sport Handling or design package, feels a little bit better for the bolstering on the back, but your knees will still be sitting up in the air if you're at 6'3". But hands down, this is definitely the way I would go, is get the 350 F Sport Handling package. So that way I don't really have to tick the box for too many extra features because I'm getting all the sport tuning. I'm getting that naturally aspirated V6, which is going to be better than what I'm currently driving. It would be awesome to get 43 and 44 MPGs, don't get me wrong. But in the same category, I'm just not a huge fan of all these batteries. I like naturally aspirated vehicles because they tend to last a little bit longer. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Lexus of Wesley Chapel for giving us these two 2025 Lexus ES, the 300H versus the 350 F Sport Handling package for our car review.